cut daisies and unicorns, and this is a Trailer Friday, everybody. So happy Friday to you. Glad that you are listening in or watching in or welcomed into the Cut Daisies and Unicorns studio. So glad that you're here.
I'm doing the close-up,
Right.
just so everybody can see my smile.
There he is.
Yeah, happy face, happy voice, and we're back. Trailer Friday.
Trailer Friday.
It's Trailer Friday. You know, Trailer Fridays are interesting. We started them, we just haven't quit them.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. It's like a little quick glimpse into the to what we're gonna be talking about it on an expanded view.
So when I hear about that, I was trying to make a unicorn verse, like a universe.
Yeah.
Like when I say universe, I mean it to be welcome to the unicorn verse. Yeah.
Like the universe.
Yes. Yeah. So we give them a glimpse into our world.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? Our world is the same as your world, and the only difference is our perspective.
That's true. Which is the reason why we all got different perspectives, and it's good to share it.
Yeah. This week, fair warning, we're not talking about game changers.
Yeah. Which is what we had planned. So if you recognize it, I mean, if you were listening to the last episode, we were talking about kind of moving into the glimpse of, hey, for next week we're going to talk about this, and then we... Yeah, so Steve decided to poke instead of going on the route, so which is fine, because that's what happens sometimes. It's like a glimpse of life.
Yeah.
Right? And in our universe, that's what occurred on this last episode, or this episode that's coming up on Sunday.
Yeah. And culturally relevant in a timely fashion, there was a law that was passed by the federal government, and so I use the word provocative. We're very provocative in this, and that is like, hey, if it's something that's, if you get to a part and you're just like, I can't listen to this shit, I need to turn this off, then feel free. Right. We're not offended, and just know that our motivation is not intended for offending. The motivation is just to be able to talk about stuff that people don't talk about a lot. And so, yeah, I wrote down a bunch of P's. This is alliterated. So
of course, it has to be
progressive, provocative, politics, and Phil gets wound up. Now, phonetically, it doesn't sound
right. And
I wouldn't normally go with 4 P's, but I'm sure that there's other P words that could be used.
Yeah. So I like the provocative was causing annoyance, anger, or other strong reaction, especially deliberately. I like the little added. Because we're not trying to annoy people, but there's some things that we talk about that we would rather people be angry about it.
Yeah.
Right? Because then at least there's some emotion towards it.
Yeah. Yeah, the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference.
Yeah.
And so to stir up and to have emotion about something, it seems reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to pause on the game changers, but we're not taking it out. We're going to plan for that still next week to talk about game changing, because, and as we talk about the latter of the episode, towards the end, we say, instead of trying to fit or jam it into the same conversation and really not do it justice, we would rather wait.
Yeah, because game changers, it's been a lovely contemplation. Yeah,
agreed.
Really enjoyed that. I was driving in my car on the way to the studio one day, and I heard this news report, and so based on the news report, brought it up to Phil. Phil hadn't heard about it, and so then we started doing some research, and we got up to speed about a new bill that was passed this last week by the federal government that we are actually for.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, you will need to tune in. I'm not going to tell you the topic.
No.
I'm not going to do. Just know that when I brought it up, Phil got worked up.
It did.
He energized.
Uh-huh.
So if you tune in to see me go off and just be like, get all wound up, I mean, I was getting there, and then our research assistant, Google, had given Phil some incorrect information, and then as he got that around, then
we retracted,
Yeah.
all within the same episode.
Yeah. So when you're going through and you're like, holy cow, and just, I mean, spoiler alert, then you'll realize that we self-correct, and we got to, as that conversation wound down, I'm looking at the little clock, and it's like, oh, we're 55 minutes in, and so I guess we're not talking about game changing today. So we changed our game.
Yep, we changed the strategy.
Yep.
We said, let's tackle this at a later point in time.
They're like, you
next
guys don't
week."
have a strategy. You're like flying by the
Sometimes
seat.
we don't, but then sometimes we do. I mean, with that one, we had an intention. This is what we were going to talk about.
It's true.
So we did have a plan. We did have a direction. You never know what's going to come from it. I mean, that's the unexpected part, but we do sometimes have a plan.
You know, what I've found is a word that I use a lot, and I think it's a word that kind of I say it out loud. It's almost like a yellow light, because greens go, red stop, yellow. You know, it nimble. I think the older I get, the more I enjoy structure, and by the structure, then it's form, you know, and then it creates a safety zone, you know, and so in structure, but you got to be nimble, you know, and so nimble is like more fluid. You got to be able to go with the flow. I mean,
flexibility,
which again is another reason why I need to start Pilates. My flexibility is horrible.
Yeah, and it's true, because stretching it causes some you know, to be flexible.
Yeah.
And I noticed, I mean, I think that was like the basis for my first injury.
You weren't stretching.
I wasn't
correct?
stretching enough, right, or even the right stretches. So,
because was it an Achilles?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, which apparently the Achilles heel is a real thing.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, mine wasn't detached, you know.
Yeah.
But
it was wounded.
it was wounded.
Yeah.
It's wounded.
Yeah.
Wounded Achilles.
We talk about war a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going into the whole of the topic, but
Right.
yeah, talk about points of injustice.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about, although we didn't put this word to it, we talk about giving voice to the unheard.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
yeah, to me, I think they were. I mean, it's well, one, because I get fired up, but but I think they're important topics for not just us to discuss. I mean, because we're usually like right on the same page, whether or not it's like a complete, you know, agreement or not. But we really are like in the same direction on that.
Yeah.
So it's easy for us to be able to talk about it in this space. It's probably a little bit harder once people are like, yeah, like that's a dumb topic, or like, yeah, that's going to get me fired up too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we're not Gandhi,
Right.
you know. Neither one of us are on a starvation strike.
No, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, my COVID-20 moved to COVID-30. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we were talking about how disappointed it is when you're actually, you know, one, either exercising or getting, your walks in, and how like it really doesn't even touch like the actual calories burned. You're like, wait, I just walked 2.5 miles and I like burned like 250 or 300 calories.
I
Like
know.
that doesn't even touch hardly anything.
Like, if you're going to treat yourself, like, I can't even eat a Snickers candy bar, king size for that.
Right.
I mean, and be at, like, net gain.
Mm-hmm.
0. Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, we're coming to you from snowy Chicago.
Right.
I mean, like, tomorrow's April 1st, right?
Yeah. Today's
April
the
Fool's Day.
Today's the 31st in our world current. Tomorrow you're going to actually be April 1st.
Oh, we should have done
Fools.
an April Fool's joke for the...
now we think about it.
Well,
Right.
if you wonder about any of this being an April Fool's joke, the answer is no.
Right.
We did not get that to happen. So,
Yeah. Interesting holiday, though. Well, I mean, I guess it's not really a holiday, but it marks on the calendar.
yeah. And it's just like, who thought of this?
Right.
We're going to find out right now. I have a word, colloquial, but I don't think I'm pronouncing it correctly. I wouldn't know how to spell it.
Yeah.
So what'd you find out about April Fool's Day?
Well, I've got a history article here. So I'm not saying the History Channel is always the, greatest or anything, but
I enjoy shows on the History Channel.
I enjoy History Channel shows too.
Yeah.
So let's dig into this a little bit. Of course, it's celebrated on April 1st every year.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that, we just talked about it. Some historians speculate that April Fool's Day dates back to 1582, when France switched from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar, as called by the Council of Trent in 1563. So then the Julian calendar, as in the Hindu calendar, the new year began with a spring equinox around April 1st.
Ah.
So people who were slow to get the news or failed to recognize the start of the new year had moved to January 1st and continued to celebrate it during the last week of March through April 1st, became the butt of jokes and hoaxes that were being called April Fools. Huh. I have learned something new today.
Well, it's a path. I mean,
Right.
Hopefully you can learn something every day.
Yeah.
I only need to have one good idea daily.
Right.
You
I like to learn one new thing, and so I guess I can quit today now.
Well, or we can start a movement and motion towards the new year actually begins with the spring equinox and go back to the Julian calendar.
Mm-hmm. Let's make a switch.
Switch it up.
Right.
It's like corporate calendars and like when fiscal year ends and how people do fiscal years and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. People don't like their fiscal year to end in December because then they got all this year-end stuff.
Right.
But, yeah. And then there's the June, the end of June being the end of the fiscal year, which I thought was always weird. We're starting our new fiscal year July 1st. Are we? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It makes my head hurt. Ouch. Oh, that literally physically just hurt me.
The thought was it was so spiky
Oh,
that
man.
it just got caught up in the brain pathway.
I'm and there's a new t-shirt. I'm embracing the Gregorian calendar. All right, folks. Well, so we got snow the day before April Fool. It's snowing here. April Fools.
Right.
No, not.
Yeah, it's the day
no
before,
joke.
so it's no joke.
It's no joke.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything else you want to spark their interest with?
No, but I would. I mean, I'd like to put it out there and see if there's anybody who bites on have you either pulled an April Fool's prank that was like,
Good.
epic, or has somebody pulled one, on you that was
Yeah.
epic? Because I'm looking back at my,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it.
There hasn't been a ton in my lifetime like done to me. I don't think I've ever even
I don't like it.
tried to do one, but I mean, they said there was one that was talking about the Taco Bell said that they reported that they bought the Liberty Bell and they were going to call it the Taco Liberty Bell. And then there was one that Burger King said that they had a left-handed Whopper. And it was like, I mean, so like things like that are, I mean, it's kind of dumb, but
Yeah.
so I don't know. I'm going to put that out there, see if anybody responds. Like any big whopper of like a April Fool's Day jokes or pranks that you've pulled or somebody's pulled on you.
Yeah. I'm a pragmatist. I don't like pranks. It's a waste of energy.
Yeah.
You know.
So you're not a fan of the Jackass
Oh, no. No. No.
Johnny Knoxville.
No. I mean, I saw the first movie,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and stuff, and I think back in the day when they had like a weekly show or something like that,
Yeah, on MTV.
you know, it's the train wreck you just can't look away from,
Right.
you know, and so like, but like the new movie that came out, I have no intention to
Yeah.
take that in, view it. It just, yeah, it's just not, it's not my deal.
Right. Yeah, I'm not a big fan either, so that's the other. I mean, like sometimes, I mean, it's that thing. Like if it comes across there, it's hard to look away.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I'd seek it out.
Yeah.
So
Hey, you know what?
yeah,
We didn't bring up,
what do we?
and we can just finish up. I think that Cut Daisies and Unicorns can, you know, come out with a public statement of condolences for Taylor.
Right, because it is. I mean, we just brought him up last episode.
Yeah,
His name was mentioned.
that was pre-death,
Right.
though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, and so. But Taylor Hawkins, drummer for the Foo Fighters, and as we've talked about music and different things like that, Taylor. Yeah, and you know, sad parts, but just know that hey, if you're struggling mentally, and if you're struggling chemically, don't put yourself in a box.
Right.
Be in community. The tendency would not to be to ask for help,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, there's the part where, you know, sometimes being a good friend and loving others is recommending getting some help.
Right.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to seek it and ask for it.
Yeah.
Now, we still don't know the cause or anything like that, but we do know that substance-wise, I mean, his body was filled with it, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Very sad. Very sad for music. And, yeah, I mean, even just, you know, his origins with, you know, Alanis Morissette, and he was a big part of the Jagged Little Pill,
yeah.
you know, world tour, and then him going over to
The Foo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be a hole that is hard to fill.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it sounded like that Taylor and Dave were really pretty good buds,
Mm-hmm.
close brothers
Right.
of the crew.
Right.
They were the ones that, well, and Dave is a drummer, I'm sure.
Right. I mean, and how sad. I mean, we look at Dave Grohl, and I mean, Nirvana was his big, you know, not his first band. I mean, it wasn't.
Sure.
Yeah, but we know that, you know, with Kurt Cobain, you know, and how that ended there, and it kind of sent him into.
He died. For
Right.
people that don't know
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah,
Yes.
he passed.
And then kind of like, I mean, they just put Nirvana away. They didn't continue with Nirvana.
Right.
Like, I don't know if the question arises or not, whether, you know, he says Foo Fighters is going to continue on without Taylor Hawkins.
They may go for a redirection. On the flip side, yeah, man, I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know.
Yeah, lots of questions, but
Yep.
Continue to, be able to be in community. I mean, how many people are putting out messages about Taylor Hawkins? Like, I mean, he interacted with a ton of people.
Oh yeah,
musically.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
just
Yeah, it is amazing. So, that's all I got.
All right. Well, everybody, some things to chew on before the full episode on Sunday. So until then, take care. Love each other.
Take care. Poke the bear. All right. See you later, everybody.